Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We got Grave Mistakes podcast today with Starch and Slim. We gonna be covering 28 Days Later.
So who are you?
I wake up today in hospital. I wake up and I'm hallucinating.
I've got some bad news.
They're infected.
Infected!
Father.
Infected with what?
Oh, I shouldn't have done that.
It's the blood. There's something in the blood.
Boom.
Let's go 28 days later.
All right, Slim, let's get a synopsis. What's this movie about? You know,
Well, first, 28 Days Later by Danny Boyle. Have you heard of him?
who? No, I'm just kidding.
Danny Boyle, the director. Yes.
Kind of unfamiliar.
Main star Cillian Murphy, followed by Naomi Harris and Christopher X. I'm going to butcher this name. Eccleston. We start off with the general premise being Cillian Murphy waking up in a hospital, and he walks out into the city of London and sees that basically everybody is gone. There's nobody. There's no bodies. It even seemed like on the ground, and he just has to figure his way to survive. Basically, yeah, that's a good little premise.
Yeah, and then there's zombies. There it is.
Yeah, I mean, eventually we find out that yeah.
That's
right.
pl-
We find out what happened.
So, initial thoughts on the 28 Days Later. I mean, you can give general thoughts on the whole 28 Later franchise, but stick with this movie. What's the consensus?
It's like you could sum up all three of these movies with just like the film word just of cuts. We are cutting the camera. This is all this movie is, and all the other movies. But this movie in particular, like, I know you haven't seen 28 Weeks Later, but that's
Not
the
in a long
one
time,
I'm the most accompanied to, like, you know, especially since the opening scene and all that. That's what it's most known for. So I have never seen this movie. I always hear about it, but we talked about this before. I don't know why this movie looks like this. All the other movies that came out in 2002, like, what year did something like Pulp Fiction come out? You know,
Uh,
it
I think
it
this was a
doesn't look
style
like
choice.
this.
This is a style choice. Like, the director unfortunately didn't have the budget to afford a real camera, so I think he found one in the streets of London and was like, "Here it is. This is what we're using to film 28 Days Later."
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, this is a hot take. When I first played this movie, I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
I have a memory from college. I think I was trying to show my roommates like 28 Weeks Later, and I
Uh-huh.
turned this movie on accent. I'm like, why does it look so bad?
It's
I
just,
was like, what
ugh!
is, guys, we picked the wrong movie. We're putting this one on instead. Like, it was that bad.
It's like, oh, this is the Tubi version.
yes. I'm like, God.
Yeah, okay. I don't. All right, this is what happened for me. The visually, it was like very jarring, and initially I didn't like
Grainy.
it. But honestly, when I finished the movie, I was kind of rocking with it, and I think it makes it feel more of like a. It feels like an indie movie almost, or like a found footage movie without like a big budget studio or production, you know. And I think that kind of adds to the charm because, like, I feel like the deepest part of this movie, like the things that make it the best, is when it's like kind of diving into humans being deplorable, but in a way that kind of almost feels like you're not supposed to be seeing what you're seeing. Like, obviously, like The Last of Us and other like major zombie media like kind of depict, like, you know, how humans are almost worse than the zombies because of the evil shit they do. But in this movie, it almost feels like you're watching it happen, like in a realistic sense, instead of like having someone explain a theme to you. Like every like evil human or evil act that's committed by humans in this movie feels like you're seeing it on a security camera instead of like it being filmed. And I think that kind of actually adds to like the horror element, or the like the actual fear of, you know, existing with people without rules.
So you're saying the film and like how it's shot enhances that feeling?
Yeah, it actually does. I think like the scary part, like it's hard for me in my desensitized brain to find like any horror movie actually scary. But even though this movie is old and I'm like, you know, an adult, there were like certain scenes in the movie where I actually kind of got chills because of like that camera, that stylistic camera choice, and also, you know, like the thing that was happening in the scene. And we'll dive into that a little bit later. But yeah, I actually kind of liked it near the end.
I was gonna say, like, especially the first scene, I think that's what really stands out to me of looking like so grainy because it's like very deep blacks when they first get into the animal lab and they're trying to free the apes, and it's a lot of just like as I remember, just darkness. Besides like the cages, and we see like them trying to save them, and like, that's when you can really see the grainiest and most. But I guess like as the film really goes on, and we get like a lot of those wide shots of Killian Murphy just in the middle of London with nobody else, those look pretty good. And I think all three of the movies do these kind of wide shots to show you like a lot of landscape, or just in the
Yeah.
last movie like nature, and yeah, I like that about it at least.
You know what? I think it also helped, like what you were saying. I think it helps compensate like the lack of space. Like this isn't like a Marvel movie or like even like a Zombieland movie where like the background setting is super important. Like the blurry, nasty ass frame kind of helps like blur the background into itself. So you're not really super interested outside of that London shot of where the characters are. You can just focus on the characters' emotions and like performances. Which this movie is like we just picked up all these actors who are either going to never be seen ever again or are going to be in like every franchise for the next 30 years. Like Cillian Murphy basically doing the worst job he's ever done at acting ever in this movie, and then Naomi Harris, who actually I think did a pretty good job, but it's just like she's in this movie too. I don't know.
Well,
There's some
Killian's
heavy hitters.
role, it's a lot of looking.
Yeah, I
It's a
like.
lot of just making faces.
I don't know about you, but I have no idea what the fuck he was doing in this movie. Like,
Mm.
like I'm gonna try to replicate a Cillian Murphy face in this movie. Like, like something will be happening, he'll just be like, it's like I don't know, like what are you communicating? Like,
Yeah, no.
what's the message to the audience? Like Naomi
It's
Harris
just
is
facial
like,
acting.
but like I don't know what he's trying to perform because his character is like, I don't even know why he was in the hospital to begin with. Like, I don't know if that's explained. It might be like for
Yes, they said he was a delivery like man who was like on a bike or something, got hit by a truck.
Oh yeah,
Or
completely
got hit
useless
by a car.
information.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I don't know who he was before. Like who is he before this? Because he's clearly like he's not like this scared, like he's not this like a damsel in distress type character that kind of like. Well, I guess he is. His thing is supposed to be the damsel in distress character who's like afraid of everything and then rises to the occasion and kind of like accepts this animalistic nature to use violence to save the homies. But it's not
Yeah.
like I don't feel like a real personality with him outside of his role in the movie. Like I think Selena, played by Naomi Harris, like I can see the nuance there. She's clearly like this gritty survivor whose whole thing is just like keep pushing, don't die no matter what. It's all about like survival, and at the end of the day, if I have to put my life on the line for you, it's not happening. And you can kind of see her performance, like like the rage she expresses, and also like that protective character when it comes to that daughter, and that even Brendan Gleeson's character Frank, like the dad, that gets like the blood dripped in his eye, like he's clearly this like very hopeful father figure who's basically just trying to find like the place where the infected aren't real. He's just like sticking out hope even if it defies like the logic of the circumstance.
Yeah.
Like, even if there maybe isn't like a safe haven, that's what keeps him going. Like everyone feels like a human. Christopher Eccleston, the Major Henry or whatever the fuck, like he's like, nah, all my homies, we just need a mission, like we're the military, we just need some kind of and then obviously there's the horrible twist with that. But I just feel like Cillian Murphy, his guy here, is just kind of like he's like an NPC. I don't know.
I was gonna say like all those three characters you just named, like they all they all say things, they all actually do things, and he basically just follows them.
Yeah.
Like and doesn't do anything until like the very end of the scene where what's his name? Like the sergeant? I forgot his name, but
That's that
it's in
Major
that
Henry
man-
person. Yeah.
yeah, Major Henry. Yeah.
Oh.
The bad guy.
Okay. So did you like the movie? Like, what was your like? You finished it. Were you like, I like this? Were you like, this is outdated? Like, what was the general consensus for the film at the end?
Ooh, see, like, okay, we get a lot of zombie movies. I'm not sure if I'm like done with the genre, but I mean, I guess it was okay. Do you think this really stood the test of time?
Yes, but because it simply doesn't look like it. I think that's like the like 2001's Fast and the Furious is like a perfect example of this, where you just kind of capture an era's like feeling, like the vibe of it, like from the wardrobe choices to how it's shot to the things they're saying. I think this movie and its like grainy ass footage is like exactly what I'm talking about. For zombie movies, there was that oversaturated time, like around that World War Z era, where we were getting like I Heart Zombie and, you know, obviously World War Z, and
Oh,
then you
dead
have
body,
like the
warm bodies.
yeah,
I don't know
and
if you've seen
yes,
that.
exactly, warm body. It was just like there's like and The Walking Dead was at its like peak around this time, I think. So zombies was like kind of like everywhere, and at that time I was definitely not into it. But we're in this almost in this not a renaissance, well, I guess a renaissance, like a zombie renaissance kind of era where we're like looking back, like we're past the golden age. The golden age of zombies was, I think, like the movie Zombieland, which might be a crazy take, but it was like
Hey, maybe so.
no, that was like the last golden age zombie movie, because you had like obviously the very first one, like the George Romero like Night of the Living Dead scenario, and then you kind of get that like different takes on the zombies. And then, like, you even have, like, weird hybrid zombies, like fucking Blade 2 or whatever, when they're, like, vampire creature zombie thing. And then you get to 2008's Zombieland, and it's, like, we know all the funny...
2008?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, pretty sure.
Oh,
Anyway,
God.
yes, and it's like all the zombie tropes, but also it's like perfect because it focuses on the main characters and it's funny, and it's like it just hits every nail for that a zombie movie needs to hit, for especially for a comedy. So after that, that's when we're getting the oversaturatedness. So I think this movie is on that like top 5 memorable zombie experiences.
I just remembered another. Have you seen Shaun the Dead?
Oh, that's fucking perfect. Yeah, that's like,
Okay, that's good. Yes.
Yeah.
You said like a comedy, and I was like, wait, I think we're just missing one. Like,
Yeah.
do you prefer the comedy versions of these movies or like the straight horror zombie movies, you know, or the action ones like we see in like World War Z?
It's okay. It's I think now that like we've experienced like an overdose of zombies, now I like the comedy element more. Or actually, that's an interesting thing, because it's like I keep going up and down on this, because The Last of Us to me is also peak zombie, because like honestly the conflict in The Last of Us is more human based, and the zombies just happen to be like the exterior, like the external threat that forces them into these scenarios.
Yeah, for sure.
But if we're just like we're putting zombies in every scene, it's got to be a comedy. Like I can't do 28 Days Later with like modern graphics and like Brad Pitt in an action helicopter, like an action scene in a helicopter. Like I can't do that. Like I'm gonna be so fucking bored out of my mind.
I mean, like, just the nature of World War Z. I know we're going to the hot topic, but like, you know, those zombies are a lot different, you know, than the
that was unique.
Slow, yeah. So that's the only reason that it can be like kind of fun to watch. Like, you know, when they were going on top of each other, getting over the wall, and just doing crazy shit just to do crazy shit.
Yeah, that's pretty horrifying. But you know, it's just when I see a zombie movie, it's like these are the beats that like for example, Resident Evil, for example, like that you couldn't remake those movies today with a different character and no like IP connection and like make me like it, because every zombie movie is gonna do this thing, right? The outbreak scene, how the zombies started, and how the world collapsed in like 48 hours and the government shut down. Okay,
right. Yes.
2. A small band of survivors who all don't trust each other come together to have to trust each other. Okay. 3. The inevitable person getting bit and trying to hide that they got bit until they either have to get killed by their best friend, which makes the audience feel sad, or they turn into a zombie and fuck up the group dynamic. And then 4, the betrayal. Someone in the group has to betray the shit out of everybody else, so that way we're like, oh my god, why would they do that? They're so evil and mean, like they should survive. Why are they fighting each other?
Boom.
All those 4 things.
You're missing like, you know, like the somebody else randomly coming into the group and like throwing off the dynamic.
Oh, everyone half the people are suspicious. Oh my god, yes, there we go. There we go. That's gonna be right before the betrayal. Oh god, my alarm. I'm sorry, I'm bad at podcasting. Okay.
Podcaster.
Yeah, so okay, that's exceptional. Yeah, so that's what it is. We got all five categories right there. It's just that's what I mean. Like how, you can't make a zombie movie and kind of omit those things, and that's why I think the last we're talking about 28 Days Later, but 28 Days Later is different, obviously, because it focuses on like the true horror of the zombie. Like it's pure existence constantly threatening you at all times. Like every time there's a down moment in this movie, the characters are under threat. Like this, one of the
Man.
scariest scenes in this movie is Cillian Murphy arriving to the church at the beginning of the movie, and he's like, "Hello," and then
Hello?
the zombies stand up, and this is like you don't know. Like obviously, if you're not dumb, you know what a zombie is. But the introduction scene to the outbreak is like the chimpanzees have this rage virus. It bites somebody, and they start tweaking too. So the audience knows. But like, if you were just to see that scene where they stand up and they look at him, like if you're fucking Cillian Murphy, you're like, what the fuck is going on? And then there's that one who's like doing the classic zombie run where their fucking elbows don't work anymore, so they're like coming at you like this. Yeah, that's scary. That's genuinely scary. It's like that's that unsettlingness. It's not so much that like a zombie's eating bro's neck and you're almost getting killed. It's just like the what is going on element of being in a zombie movie.
No, I mean I thought that scene was done really well. Like it kind of makes me think of like how much sound has to do with like how the hearing is, because there's multiple times where he walks out into the street and he's like, "Hello,
And it's just absent of sound.
hello," yeah,
You do
like
the accent?
hello, like are they sticking to the shadows? Because I'm assuming those guys were just eating like the bodies in the church, right?
I'm
pretty
assuming,
sure.
or they were dormant. Yeah, I feel like there's got to be like a hibernation
dormant.
element. You know what I was
Mhm.
also thinking? Like this might be a bad take, but like, okay, do zombies starve to death? Like I know
See,
this is gonna be different
at
in
the
every
end,
franchise.
at the end of this movie, I'm pretty sure they confirmed that some of them have been starving to death. So yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because like my thing is like if they starve to death, that means you could just wait out the zombie apocalypse if you think about it. Because like
Well,
there's
that's
like
the hope.
probably millions of zombies. Like at least like 4/5 of them are gonna die of starvation, because like when a zombie eats someone, bro, they be taking like 3 bites and they keep it stepping.
Right. It's like we don't know if their primary goal is like to spread it or to eat. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because, if they take a bite, are we actually eating this person? Or, because eventually they're going to turn into a zombie because they're getting eaten.
yeah,
It's kind of weird.
yeah.
Because some
Like
people just don't die to die and be eaten. But, yeah, I
I
don't
think
know.
it depends. When they get like the infection in zombie
Mhm.
movies, it's usually I think to eat people. But like in the other way around, when it's like the
The
zombie,
brains.
yeah, when it's like
Yeah.
the zombie thing, it's to eat people. But when it's an infection of like or a virus, when it's
Oh,
the
it's
virus
just
seems like
spread.
it's just a spread. Yeah,
Right.
the
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
cordyceps.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think some of the like the more stylistic choices in this movie that also make it kind of a good horror movie are like some of those moments where you don't know what's going to happen next, like when Naomi Harris machetes the shit out of her survival teammate because he gets bit, and without skipping a beat she just chops this guy into pieces while he's screaming. That was pretty
Yeah.
horrible.
It was like instant on site as soon as she saw like his arm is bleeding or something. She
Yes,
said,
that one
"Oh,
shocked
okay."
me because like usually there's that tropey scene where the character is like, "You just do it, just
Just
tell
do
so
it.
and so I love you," and then like there's like
I mean, we
I would
kind of get that
a
in this movie,
respectful
though.
death. Yeah, like there's like a respectful death, but he gets his arm lobbed off, like, and you don't know how long they've been homies or even
Yeah,
together. Like
right.
when you first see them, they're saving Cillian Murphy. They've been living together for X months. So I'm like, for her to just kind of like lock in like that, it really kind of demonstrated the ruthlessness of her character. And I thought it was a pretty scary scene. Like my stomach kind of dropped a little bit, mostly because I didn't expect it.
Right, because like this happens I think they're in Killian Murphy's house, right? His character's house, and then I think they're in the he's in the kitchen or something, and the zombies just burst in out of nowhere. I want to know how they know where to go. Is it just sounds?
There was
Because
a
it kind of just
I had a criticism about that too, and I think that's like part of the movie's shortcoming and why it's not like amazing. There's just like the two scenes that happens. It happens twice in the movie, almost honestly almost 3 times. The first time is like when Selena's friend, she chops him to death. Is they're just sitting in that house and it randomly gets like SEAL Team 6 invaded by zombies that are breaking all the windows. And then it
Yeah.
happens again later at his house. So the zombies are like, "Oh, you guys have been having too much dialogue and silent time," and then
Right.
like
Right.
they just spawn outside to give the characters a reason to keep moving. And I think that's kind of like that part is really frustrating because outside of that, why wouldn't you just stay in Frank's apartment for like the remainder of the zombie apocalypse? You know, for them it's different because he's like, "Oh, there's a radio signal, like like these people keep us safe," but.
Well, it was
Yeah,
also like water, right? There's like a lot of things that were stopping them from like staying there. I want to say, yeah.
yeah, and it's just like the other thing is like if they have to keep moving because of that reason, why was that like little CVS pharmacy shop that they were
Dude, that thing was
staying in?
fully stocked. That was a
Yeah,
grocery store.
why were you not staying there forever? Like, what are we doing?
I thought we were gonna get the trope of, oh my god, there's a zombie here, and it's gonna kill one person because they're the grocery store. This happens like most zombie movies. They find a safe haven, but there's a zombie
Yeah,
nearby.
no, they just
But no,
left. They were like, "Ah,
they just
let's go to
left.
my parents'
They
house."
took their carts, put that shit in the truck, and got going.
Yes. Um,
No, but we gotta come out to this part, man, with
Go ahead.
Jack's character. I forget his name, but it's the dad of his he has the daughter, but it's
Oh,
the
Frank.
dad arriving. Yeah, Frank. And they make the decision of, since they're gonna go to follow this radio, he's gonna go through this tunnel with cars packed up. Why are we not staying on the surface? Why are we going into the depths of where we don't know what you can see? And driving, and he flipped up on the ramp on top of cars, and then busts down and pops a tire. It's one of the stupidest things he ever could do, and like they luckily get away with it because as soon as it happens, we just hear.
It's like, "Oh Lord, they coming."
Bro, it's like, of course they just have to set us up for a scene of just tension building, like basically that's all that was.
See, I'm not familiar with I-40 in London, like whatever highway that is that they're taking, if that's the
Yeah.
only route. But yeah, that was definitely not one of our genius play decisions was to go through that because it very well could be blockaded. Like if let's say I'm like holed up in a stronghold on the other side of this tunnel, that's like the best choke point available to like bar somebody in. So I'm definitely like from that. Another thing is like, yeah, like what the fuck are we doing with that? And also, there's no way we're changing a tire right now. Like,
Dude, no, like they didn't even have a jack. They just held the car up, right?
yeah,
I wanna
they just had
say-
3 people pick the fucking car up whilst you.
Yeah.
No way, no way. Especially because, like, I mean, honestly, kudos to bro for having the spare tire on lock for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he was a taxi driver, right? I want to say.
I feel like
Yeah, because he turns on the meter before they start driving. So yeah.
right before that scene, I actually do like that it shows that Frank is about keeping people safe. Though when he's in that juggernaut suit at the top of the hotel or
Oh
whatever,
yeah.
and he
And they
helps
meet him in his
them.
apartment.
Yeah, because you have no idea who that guy is. He's just like, "Hey, come here," and you're like, "The fuck is
Yeah.
that?" And dude's just sitting there with the riot shield. It's like what did he do before this? You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, that tire scene is pretty dumb. Like that. That's what I mean. Like that's the same kind of energy of when the zombies like break in to the apartment. Or like the houses and stuff. It's just kind of like it just kind of forces the plot forward. It's a MacGuffin, as I think they
Right.
call it.
I feel like they could have did that like a number of different ways.
For sure, spike strips, some like
Right,
some
right,
form of
glass.
something that like inconveniences the characters. That's a little bit more than like, what if we took this bitch off roading? You know what I mean? Like it's like a Jeep trailer. I don't understand, or a commercial.
Hey, bro, yes.
It's like
really good.
yeah. So I think now it's a good time to kind of get into Frank's ultimate demise here. So
Hey, yeah.
we pull up to the compound. It's completely empty. All hope is lost. There's no like army waiting for them, And Frank is on one. He's crashing out because he's been the hope of the movie for the past 5 minutes, and then he's losing it. And Celine's like, "We gotta get out of here." He's like, "Where the fuck are we going? Like, there's nowhere to go." And you're like, "Damn, there really ain't nowhere to go." And we in London. This place is ass. There's piss everywhere. The food is beans on. I'm kidding.
Knives. Watch out for the knives.
Yeah, right. Acid attacks. So when he starts freaking out like this, I think this is the most interesting character death in a zombie movie because the infection in this movie works like if the blood touches your, it's AIDS. This is just an allegory
Fluid.
for AIDS,
Yeah.
which is like also interesting because there's that chimpanzee element of the chimpanzees having the blood. So I don't know. I feel like it is like a weird AIDS allegory. I didn't do any background research, but he's sitting there tweaking out and he looks up and a drop of blood falls from like a dead zombie in the rafters. How the fuck did it get there, by the way? And
Right. That's a good question.
falls into his eyeball and he's just cooked just off that, just on sheer coincidence, 1 in a million chance. And he like, and there's that moment where it first hits them where there's that like, what the fuck was that? There's no goddamn way moment. And I think that one, like, I'm trying to think of have you ever had a moment in life where that happened? Like you were like, there's absolutely no way this just happened to me.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And it's like just straight denial. And it's like, oh, I wish I can go back 10 seconds and I wish that just never happened.
Yeah. And it's like, you're joking. And then obviously he gets absolutely gunned down by the cavalry. This is an honorable mention trope. Yes, this is the honorable mention trope that happens in like The Mist and all these other movies where the very second the characters make like a life-ending decision, everyone shows up to save them. This is also an End of Watch when Jake Gyllenhaal and his spoiler get killed.
Yeah.
Okay. And then like 2 seconds later, like the DEA and all the police show up. Like it's just like, man, what the fuck?
Comparing this to The Mist is crazy. I know what you're trying to say, but to that movie in particular is insane.
I'm just saying. Yeah, so they show up. It's like, hey, the army's here, and then this is where the movie gets bonus points. Like this to me brings the movie from like mid to I'm kind of rocking with this because
this third act.
Yeah, the third act. Because normally, if this is a regular zombie movie, this is the ending. This is the ending of the movie. Like they come save them.
Yeah, you're right.
They're like,
safe haven.
We have rations and stuff. We're taking care of the community. But this is where like the gears kind of turn in your head because it's a little confusing. It's like, if these guys are saving people, where the fuck are all the people?
Right.
It's like it's just us three. We're the only 3 civilians you've saved since like you started doing it. Like something ain't right. So you're kind of like, and the movie's still going, so you're a little confused. And you're getting to know these guys. Obviously, the army dudes are all like written as like kind of asshole bullies. Like the camaraderie strong between them. Right.
Yeah.
And then the Major Henry is like, we're gonna do, and you're like, what the fuck is this? What is happening? And I think after the scene where they shoot, I don't know what this was going. Like I don't know. This is where they blew the budget, but when they had all the zombies attack the compound, and there was just like choppy early 2000s shaky cam cuts of them shooting the zombies all the time and just like killing 40 zombies. I don't know what the point of that was.
I mean, they just wanted to show that I guess that this place is actually kind of safe, especially with these guys here. Like nothing can really happen unless like, these guys are bad. And that's not going to happen, right? So yeah.
I kept thinking about how many bullets they were wasting, by the way, too, cuz I was like, they're not connected.
No, you guys go pick them up. What do you mean? You shoot a bullet, go pick it up, put it back in the gun. Are you sure they weren't doing this, or what do you mean?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, my bad. No. Staring at the camera with a stale face is actually crazy. Yeah, they're picking up the bullets like arrows and just reloading them into the gun. No casing or nothing. All right. Anyway, outside of that, like stupid nitpick, it's just this is where the movie jumps off. So there's this. By the way, for anybody who has a refrainment or a distaste for sexual misconduct, just giving you a little bit of warning here. So this is the moment. So you find out there's like this basically a sexual harassment / assault of Selena's character, where like the army guys are like basically like being misogynist and then insinuating sexual interactions or violence, and one of the army guys like punches the absolute fuck out of the dude harassing her. And you're like, oh, okay. So you just assume this one dude is an asshole, right? Like a piece of shit. We need to shoot this guy. But when Cillian Murphy talks to Major Henry, about what's going on, you can tell like he wants Killian's character, which his name is Jim, by the way. So he wants Jim to get recruited to join the army thing, which is kind of weird to me, by the way, because if anything, Selena's, well, they're all misogynists, so that explains it. But he was like, yeah, you know, like this is what we do here. We save people, and he has this exposition reveal where he's like, so all of these guys were basically had nothing, about to kill themselves, like had no mission, and you're thinking he's gonna say the mission is to save people, but he goes is like they follow me and I promised them women. And so the implication is that they have been basically like abducting women and then sexually assaulting them and then probably killing them, and that's the reward for following the major's orders. And
I
it's
thought
like,
the implication was that they needed to restart,
yeah,
so they want.
that's what he
Correct.
says. That's what he says. He says it's to like keep humanity going, like to repopulate. But there's no one else there, so I don't know if
Right.
it's like.
Oh, are these the first two, or?
Yes, but
like
here's the confusing thing is because later, so that's like that fucking horrifying jaw dropping stomach pain reveal, and then I'm not gonna lie, Jim does not play it super rationally. He had just immediately full break sprints towards Selena and the daughter, and obviously he's immediately detained and captured. And then there's like the really upsetting scene where like they like, you know, almost try to take advantage of Selena and the daughter, and then they're like, but then they kind of switch it to like a PG-13 version of this where they're like,
make them look real pretty.
like they're buying time so that way they don't have to do a graphic scene that nobody wants to see. So they're like, make them wear these dresses, get them ready for dinner, like, or the you know what's implied, and so Selena tries to give the daughter a bunch of sleeping pills, which is even more horrific and disgusting and sad because she's like, at least you won't remember this, like, you know.
Well, I mean, we forgot to say the event, like inevitable suicide in a zombie movie. There's always one at least, because you know.
Yes. And obviously, like at this point, this character is just like completely at a loss because you know they just lost their father. Yeah, and so Cillian Murphy is taken out to pasture with the other army dude who's not fucking with the sexual assault narrative, and the two army guys get into an argument about if they should shoot him or stab him. And so the dude shoots him, and the knife guy gets mad, and they get into it, and that lets Jim hide amongst the bodies. Basically, I'm painting this picture to ask: so are those bodies that they place there the zombies that they move after they shoot them, or are these all the people they have dragged out behind the barn and shot, so that way they can keep this fucked thing going? That's what I was wondering. Because
you're probably right with the second, honestly, with the latter.
Yeah, so that's why I was like, huh, like, is this like, are they just murdering people, you know?
Right.
So
I mean, they do move the bodies off the line though, because he even says that after the attack, he's like, get the bodies off the line. So we don't even know where they put them, but you would assume they would put them pretty far away because it's a
so
danger.
Maybe this is where they put the zombie bodies.
Yeah.
But they don't. Yeah. So anyway, all right. So yeah, Jim escapes. He comes back. Then he locks in. Now this is his Rambo moment where he all of a sudden learns how to kill people, even though they're trained soldiers. So you know he starts killing dudes. He's doing smart tactics like throwing his clothes in different angles to kind of throw off the scent. Eventually gets back to the crib. Helps save Selena and the daughter, and they obviously kiss because for some reason we have to make these two characters romantically involved. So, you know, they macking lips, they going crazy, everybody. And then there's the standoff with Major Henry, which actually happens in this weird way where, like, they're trying to escape, and he gets into the car, and the daughter's actually driving. And so she, like, what happened here?
Wait.
Like,
it is implied, because, you know, like, she does drive before, because I think some people are in handcuffs or something like that.
I'm saying, like,
He's
how
like,
did we get into this moment where Major Henry is in the car with the daughter? Like, how did, like, was he chilling in the back seat? Like,
back seat, yeah.
Yeah, like, what was the tech here? Like, he's like, all my homies just got blicked. I'm going to get my lick back by waiting in the car. And then how did she got into the driver's seat, and she, like, starts the car and drives away, bashes into something. Bro flies out the windshield, gets eaten, or, well, he stays in the car. Then he gets eaten by a bunch of zombies. So I'm just like, I don't know. That was, like, a kind of weird, like, standoff thing that they had.
I mean, yeah, I agree. I was going to say, Jim's whole plan of like for some reason they keep that zombie brother
on the leash.
up. Yeah, they keep him on the leash, and then They shoot the latch, break him up. That's his plan to induce utter chaos. He doesn't know if the two girls are going to survive, and of course they luckily do. But that's his plan. I mean, I guess it works out obviously in the end. But just hindsight, like
I think
was that the plan?
yeah, that was clearly like Chekhov's zombie, the one like the black dude they had chained up. I don't know like what's going on with that there, but like like that was definitely the implication. And I get it. That'd be my strategy too. Like if you're playing Baldur's Gate or a video game, you release the bear or the zombie.
Right? Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like that's the
Yeah.
that's the play. But for me, I'm like. And also, like, there's, I fucking hate when the movies do this and everyone hates it. And, like, they really need to stop doing this shit. Like, it's pissing me off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he has a fucking, like, assault rifle with a bayonet. And he, like, bayonet charges this dude and drops the whole goddamn gun. Like, oh my God. Like, I don't even care if it has bullets anymore. No, dude, it's like, it's just no rational human being has ever made that decision. Like in the horror movie where they hit the killer with the hammer and they run away, or they fire like a bullet and they throw the gun. Like, oh, stop! I can't.
Not everybody can be John Wick and be like efficient with every single bullet.
No, I'm not saying efficiency. I'm saying common sense. You got like 4 more fucking guys in there with fully automatic machine guns. At least like come in with something. Like, dude. So yeah, like the main villain gets gobbled.
He had the zombie, so he had something else going on.
Yeah, that's right. He had Johnson on the chain, and yeah, like the major said, we're gonna study this to figure out what happens if it can starve to death.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, dude, you guys aren't studying anything. This is like a group of guys with an IQ of 4 combined.
I mean, it is like a kind of a.
It was a smart play. It was a smart play. I'm just nitpicking.
All they gotta do, them dumbasses, they gotta mark a day and then count how many days before he dies.
Yes.
And if he does eventually die, so you can give them that at least. I mean, they're terrible people, but.
And then it's like implied / revealed through like the other army dude who you think is delusional, but he turns out he's right, where he's like, there's no way that the whole world is infected. We're definitely just quarantined off. And then at the end of the movie, you see the plane fly across the sky. So it implies that like London is like this quarantine to ground zero for the infection, that the rest of the world might be okay. It's not fully revealed, but the plane thing is pretty.
It's like hope. Yeah.
Yeah, is that hope? So then they pack up and get the fuck out of Dodge. So yeah, we did it. We saved our homies and we get out of here. I think the golden moments of this movie are like the beginning, some like sprinkled parts in the middle, and then the early part of the third act. Like when he turns into Rambo, I've kind of lost interest.
I like that. I'm not gonna lie, because they're like, is he a zombie?
Oh, that was fucking terrible. When he's covered in blood and shirtless, and she has a weapon, and instead of saying like, "Hey," he just silently takes a violent step towards her.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And then like she like does the thing and stops. It's like, come on. Honestly, it would have been so much funnier if she just decapitated him, and the audience is just sitting there like.
Well, I mean, that almost happened. Like if the girl, I think she hits him with something. And that's like he's like, he's like, he's okay. If that was like an axe or something,
that's what I'm
disembodied harm.
God damn it! Like the more I talk about these scenes, the more I'm like, let's bring this movie to a 2 out of 10. But I like it a little bit. So here, let's go into segments. Let's go, unless I missed a scene that's very vital, but I don't think I did.
I don't think we did. I think we covered all the bases.
Criticisms, I feel like we packed on like a good amount of them. Like the zombie is just randomly showing up. We don't really have an explanation of what like triggers them, which is nitpicky. I will say in 2025 as like audience, movie-going audience members, we are like way too nitpicky. Like we need to fucking suspend disbelief, but like the zombie is just basically invading only when it's convenient for the characters to move. I find pretty annoying. Some of like the more practical shit with like the army people and Cillian Murphy's character not really being a person. Those are pretty much like the bulk of my criticisms, and like how it's shot is both the best and worst thing about this movie. What about you? What are your primary criticisms?
I mean, oh god. I mean, like we said, how it's shot, how Cillian Murphy is just not a character. He just doesn't do much. He just following and just blinded and just can't do anything for himself because I guess he just can't do anything at all. Pretty much, he doesn't know what's going on.
He's very incapable until the last 15 minutes of the movie.
That's the perfect word, incapable, man. Oh my gosh, yeah. And I have a hard time trying to want to say I would want to rewatch this movie.
It's not very rewatchable.
I think it's a one and done.
Yeah.
I know you haven't seen 28 Years Later, but compared to this, I would want to watch that. I watch that again. For sure. This, nah.
I think the other thing with this movie is the twist at the end with like the army dudes being like predators and evil. You don't spend enough time with them for that twist to pay off if you rewatched this. Like when you watch like a whodunit movie, you can then rewatch it knowing who the killer is and see how they was moving the whole movie. Right, and it changes the experience on the rewatch. But for a movie like this, you spend like 3 seconds with them before it's revealed that they're evil, and honestly, they were kind of assholes initially anyway, so there really isn't like a... And there's not like a unexpected character death that really throws you off. Like obviously how Frank dies is like shocking, but I mean when you have a movie with side characters, some of them are going to get peased.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, most chilling scene.
Ooh, okay. So it's either when they're at his house and he's just like busting in and so like shit starts going down, or it's like it has to be the tire repair scene. So I guess I'll give it to the tire repair scene for as much flack as we gave it. Like just them having to, there's like a quick time event of them trying to fix this tire, and we just see we hear the howls and the footsteps and the getting closer. I like that the most. I would say that, yeah.
Most chilling scene for me is definitely going to be that guy getting chopped to pieces. I don't know why I had such a visceral reaction to this dude getting like murdered alive by his best friend. I think it's just because like it was just a disrespectful disembowelment, or I guess like dismemberment is a better word. I think that one was like chilling to me just because like I just couldn't imagine like having no time to just be like, hold on, wait, and then someone just starts fucking lobbing limbs off of me. That'd be like so horrible.
I was just thinking, man, like it might be going to a criticism section. Like that's really dangerous to do with all the fluids, right? I'm not sure how blood splatters, but like.
Thank you for bringing back criticisms because Cillian Murphy is fucking shirtless at the end of this movie, drenched in random amounts of blood, and we're just like we're not worried about we're macking lips with this guy. He's covered in blood, and we are now like sharing saliva. Like there is no way that this person who has been this like locked in all movie is like ready to take that risk, but whatever.
I would definitely go back and put that into criticism, man. Like that is just straight stupid or just dangerous to do to begin with. But what is your most chilling? Oh, you said that was your most chilling scene, right?
The dismemberment.
Okay, yeah.
All right, pick your death scene. If you were gonna go out in this movie like one of the characters, how are you going out? I gotta stop letting you go first because you always pick the best.
All right,
way.
yeah, you can go first.
All right, cool. Finally, fuck. All that rah and I don't even know what my answer. Honestly, I might have to go out like Frank. It depends on how like. No, I'm going out. No, I'm taking it. I'm going out like the other army dude who is like sticking up for people, and then you just get shot one and done in the face.
It's one and done.
Yeah. Actually, that's a pretty bad way. No, I'm going out like Frank, bro. The little blood in the eye, and then you start tweaking and get gunned down. I'm going out like Frank.
Well, I don't know. You don't know how it feels to be like,
to start turning.
Raged,
Yeah,
but rage, turn the rage on.
Bro got Swiss cheese like 4 minutes later, so like it's fine.
Oh, doesn't? Oh man, I can't. Can you say like any kind of like random zombie though? I mean, I feel like
no, you can't go zombie. You got to go person. They're already dead.
Right. Shit. I mean, it's so hard because most people just get eaten by a zombie or just get turned into a zombie.
Yeah.
By getting. Doesn't Killian just like mack some kid with a baseball bat?
you want to be the
I'll be the child.
I'm pretty sure that's a zombie child, but I'll take it because of how funny that is. I forgot that becomes like a pivotal point in his character where he's like, "I killed a kid." He talks to the Starch about it, right? He's like, "I killed a kid." It's like, no, dog, that was a zombie. Yeah, does not count.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, my favorite grave mistake. So for those of you who are uninitiated, this is the segment where we basically pick the decision or the grave mistake. You get it, a mistake, haha, that a character made that led to their ultimate downfall in the movie. Because I already picked Frank's death scene, I won't go Frank's crash out that leads to him getting blood in his eye. For dumbass decision, I'm gonna go with leaving the CVS to go do anything else but survive.
Yeah.
I mean, it ended up
Lock it
working out for them, but not for that other dude. Like that guy that gets chopped to pieces. Yeah.
No, I mean, I complained about it so much, but I guess it's just Frank going into the tunnel. I don't know how London works. I'm not sure how those expressways work, but that's good. There's no way I'm doing that.
Yeah, that was really bad. I will say another funny one would be like not having good health care, and you know, like in Killian getting transported to that hospital where he's just left there.
Oh, they just left him?
Yeah.
Like, I was thinking about that. Like, what made them not choose to take him? Everybody else is gone.
I imagine all the medical professionals just started running, and everyone else did that too. But like, I think it's really funny that just coincidentally no one opened that door.
Everybody, even people who are in hospice, look like they are gone. Like there's no one in there. What is going on?
That's a pretty horrible circumstance to wake up, like just to wake up and everything's different like that. Like that's different than like the cryo sleep thing.
Yeah.
This is like a whole, like imagine you went to go you went to the dentist and you got like a, you know, they gassed you to like, you know, do an operation. You just woke up and there was aliens. It's like,
like I mean, yeah, that's the extreme version of that. Yes, in this case, like the dentist's office is it's just empty and there's no in the parking lot.
I'm changing my answer. Grave mistake was being like being a radicalized pro climate change activist and freeing the chimpanzees to kick off the apocalypse. Like, is the writer of this movie anti climate change? Like, is this like secretly conservative propaganda? You know what I mean?
This scientist is screaming at them like, guys, like these guys are like these monkeys are a problem. They will kill you. It's like, no, we got. I'm not gonna do it. We have to do it. Basically, we have to do it. It's like, I'm gonna unlock it, and then the chip just rushes here. I didn't know this was gonna happen. What do you mean?
Is this movie funded by Big Zoo? Is Big Zoology?
Big Zoo. Oh my god.
Big Zoo is investing in this movie to show that we should keep animals in captivity.
Oh, I can do it. Yeah, big pharma.
Yeah,
Big Pharma is saying
yeah, Big Pharma and Big Zoo are like, we need these animals in their cages.
Yeah.
All right, sequel possibility. There's two. So 28 weeks later, what's the deal with that? What's happening in that movie?
I mean, I don't even remember it as much. It's just like survivors in the city, basically. Like there's some people in these.
Is Cillian Murphy in this one?
Cillian Murphy is not in the second one.
Okay,
yes.
What about the third one? All right, so and I think the third one is them surviving on an island, right?
It's they're like in the Scottish Isles, and like there's this castle where like it's like low tide, high tide.
Yeah.
And they build a whole civilization on like that island.
So these are just survival movies in like an arbitrary zombie universe. I don't know what that word means. I just threw it in there.
Sounded right to me.
So for pretending like this movie doesn't exist, the sequels don't exist, what is your fan fiction sequel to 28 Days Later look like?
I mean, obviously you would assume that Cillian Murphy would be in the movie, right? Like just to see if they actually survive, maybe.
But he learned how to act and go to actual movies after this, so like I could see why he wasn't in the sequel. Like remember in Independence Day 2 where Will Smith died in a plane accident? Like he wasn't the whole main character of the first movie. It was like that, we're just like pretending like he isn't important anymore.
Yeah. I mean, they just went on to do. Yeah, I guess like that's one of the main reasons some like big budget actors don't come back in these sequels. But I mean, is this like his pop off movie? This came out in 2002.
It had to be at least one of his first foundational movies.
Yeah, what made them pick him? Like, because it's just so weird. Because we see what he becomes and like how he's Oppenheimer. He's in all these Christopher Nolan movies.
Yes,
and like. I mean,
it's like seeing Samuel L. Jackson with the shower cap on his head and in School Days. No, in
Oh,
School
okay.
Days, where he's just like this random side character.
Yeah.
It's a weird role to see him in, even though he is the lead of this movie. So yeah, like, what does the sequel look like for you if you're making it yourself?
I mean, we have to see like the safe place, the safe house that they're at. I think it's said or something that they're noticing that the zombies are actually like dying off
Yeah.
because from like starvation. So we get like actual hope. But just the second movie, this does not start like that. So
No.
like
No, you're making your
I
own
don't
movie though. You're making your own movie though.
I know. So I mean, obviously, if there's another movie, there has to be more conflict, and we have to understand like are they trying to leave Britain now? But I don't think they'd be let to like leave Britain. I think it's like they just full quarantine the British Isles. So like I mean, it would just be them trying to get to the mainland Europe, I guess.
I think so. My sequel possibility is going to be horrible intentionally because you can't make this good with having continuing characters.
Yeah.
So I think my sequel gets like a 32% on Rotten Tomatoes, and this is the plot. So Killian Murphy and Naomi Harris's characters, they get to the compound and they become like the Han Solo and General Leia of the compound, where they're like high-ranking army helper people, and they're making moral decisions on like what to do with the zombies. But then like another faction of asshole army guys is like, nah, we gotta bomb the fuck out of people so that way they're all dead. And they're like, no. And then through the conflict, neither of them succeed in their goal, and now there's no like federal army guys to quarantine the Europe, and so Killian Murphy is kind of like walking now by himself because everyone dies in like a Mad Max style solo survival ending.
Oh, so now he's by himself. Oh, and so the third movie is
Yeah,
him by
he
himself.
so no. So yeah, actually, if we're gonna keep going, yeah. So in the third movie,
Okay.
it's Fury Road, where he has to now find, like, he's hopeless. Everyone's died. He's basically like this vagabond, ranger dude who's peak
I
at
mean, he's
surviving.
in his like 50s, like 40s, 50s, late 40s or like 50s, because it's 28 years later is the third movie.
You're right. You're right. You ready for this? Because it's about to be fucking horrible. So in the third movie, he's grizzly and he doesn't believe in helping anyone, kind of like Selena.
Oh,
You ready? It
yeah.
gets even better. But then he finds a young person who he like secretly sees as his child surrogate, and he will compromise his
Yeah.
values to save them, and then he's gonna die in the end, and that person's gonna. This is just Logan, but it's 28 years later.
Good thing we're not in the writer's room. Okay. Good thing. I would say that.
I think my
Thank
movie.
God.
Yeah, my movie would have made like 200,000 at the box office, and it would have been like a $90 million production.
Well, I think this movie's a box like market smash, right? Yeah, budget 8 million and it made 82 million. Just the Brits.
I really don't understand why people
Power the Brits.
got up to see this movie. Well, I don't know.
I mean, like the first one, yeah. Like the afterwards, yeah, people were excited because they're like, oh, like I wonder what happens 28 months later, you know? And everybody's
the
like,
second
what's
one.
gonna happen?
I get why we would go see it, but like 2003, like I guess maybe this would have been all the rage in like 2003. I don't know. Okay, I guess we'll just move on to music. There really wasn't any for this movie, so there's not a lot of musical choices to go through.
Well, like I think it's I think all the three movies share the same thing, the same theme. It happens in the second one in the beginning, but I want to say it happens in this one too. It's like the quintessential 28 series like soundtrack. It's a banger, but if you haven't like heard it, you're not gonna like
I was
recognize
gonna
it.
say
Well, you're gonna
maybe I'm unfamiliar with the game.
you'll remember it, yeah. So if you go just watch the beginning of the first one,
So
second
it's
one,
got
yeah,
like it's got theme music. Okay.
it's a banger. It's for sure a banger.
Okay. All right. Well, there's probably like a whole like subsection of people that love it. So let me show that a little
Yeah.
bit of attention. I've been excited for this representation station. So out of 5 stars, this gets a fucking 2. And actually, I should give it a 1, and I'll explain. I'm giving it a 1, and I'll explain why.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So 1.5. So it's mostly white characters. Okay. in this movie, so there's not a lot of representation outside of that. Now, there's like 2 or 3 black characters max in this movie, okay? One is Naomi Harris. Super badass, like, I handle shit, I'm the expert character, which would be awesome. And she's a woman, which would make this awesome, especially for like 2003. But eventually, she gets turned into a literal damsel in distress, wearing a dress, like, who needs to be saved by a white man. Not looking too good. Now I get it. Obviously, if we are being realistic and this circumstance happened, it's like a 1 versus 12 army dude scenario. Like she's not she's not like, you know, John Wicking her way out of that. But at the end of the day, it is like damsel in distress needs to get saved by this guy. So tough. Second, the daughter character is pretty much reduced to a similar character archetype, you know, but she is a kid, but you know, like Frank is her protector, but she does actually have to get saved. And then, so it's not looking too good for women on the representation front, at least in the third act, but in the first 2, it's good. And then for black people, the other black dude in this movie is a chained up zombie. They got him in shackles. Like,
it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad in that case.
This movie should have been called 12 Years as a Zombie.
Oh, God.
It's not like
I was gonna give it a 3. This is 2002, and we get a black female like second protagonist. She's like the second from Cillian Murphy. I'm like who made this decision? And I'm happy they did, but why? They could have easily just went with like a basic, you know, British like white woman for this role.
For sure, yeah, for sure. I think
it has to say something at least.
I think the man brain kind of threw all that away in the last moment of the movie. Like they could have very easily created a scenario where it's Selena and Jim teaming up to go save the daughter, or Selena saving everyone, or it's just like it didn't have to evolve itself into Jim saving 2 women in distress.
Yeah, no. I mean, in the third act, I guess you can like say. I mean, you're mixing in like.
That's also my like PC Gen Z nitpicky like perspective. Like, it's not the end of the world. There are obviously like, you know, like I said, there's plot reasons for this to make sense. It was just like a little bit tough taking that character's agency away and their like, you know, physical ability to defend themselves. So I don't, you know.
Yeah, right. I'm just showing like just the truly just depravity of like what men can be in these situations where,
for sure,
like, you know, power dynamic is just tilted on one side.
Right, and not to say this wouldn't happen in like a realistic, like this is also a very realistic scenario for like a horrible zombie apocalypse. Yeah, I think we ran through our favorite moments. Do we have anything else on that end for this movie? I just think like it's pretty unique, like kind of snapshot in time of the zombie movie. Obviously, Cillian's performance isn't peak, but like I think it's almost nostalgic. Even seeing it like in 2025, it has this element of like a kind of like in the past. Like this movie wouldn't get made again. Like especially like with how it's shot, the simplicity of the plot. Like the never before heard of actors, kind of like no studio would invest in a movie like this, like, you know, at least right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm happy it got made. It's really a tribute to its time, like we said before. Like this is 2002. This is like, you know, the turning of the millennia, and this movie comes out. So I mean, I think it's good for where it is and when it came out. Yeah.
Okay.
Would I watch it again? Probably not.
Yeah,
not for a while.
On your Letterboxd score, which I still have to write the review for this, what would you?
I'm going with a 3. I just simply because like rewatchability just really goes into like my rating sometimes, and me seeing 28 years later, like I don't even know what to think of that movie, but at least I think I could like rewatch it, and probably just enjoy it again and whatnot. But this one, now I appreciate it for what it is. I mean, back then I could see why people really enjoy it, but I can't do it for today. You know, like it was fine.
I need to hear somebody's breakdown of this because they might like lose it, but I would give it a 2.5 stars. It like has some really awesome moments and some genuine horror, but like some of the stylistic choices and some of like the characters' motivations or actions are just kind of like glaringly frustrating. And for something that pretty much holds like a fairly basic plot structure, it's a bit hard to find it like exceptional. Maybe I'm missing something. Like this might have been like one of the first movies to introduce like X, Y, and Z into like a zombie movie or like a horror movie. You know, like I might be missing some culture or some cinema history here, but as like a standalone movie, it's not. It's getting a 2.5. By the way, this movie has a 87% on Rotten Tomatoes. So like it apparently is like a cult classic for a lot of people. I just like I don't know if I respect its game like that.
I mean, I think the movie is good. I know you're like right in the middle. So would you say you're like this is just mediocre?
No, it's not mediocre. I could see it being good. Like okay, for example, like this movie has like a 3.7 average stars on Letterboxd, which is high.
Yeah.
Like it almost has like a 4-star average. Like I said, I haven't read like people's reviews, like other people's perspective on it, but like I get it. Like I understand why some people are like this is peak, but that doesn't mean it's Jesse's peak. You know, I don't necessarily find this.
Yeah, I mean,
movie,
yeah, it's your opinion.
Yeah, yeah, man. It's just like that movie Man on Fire for me. I don't see the vision.
I mean, that's fair.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think we're solid on this. We'll see if we end up covering 28 weeks later. We probably will, but we're definitely going to cover 28 years later as soon as possible.
For sure. I want to talk about this movie.
I know, I'm sorry. I'm going to try to go see it as soon as possible, and then we'll try to cover that. But thank you guys all for listening. Please share, engage with content, and yes, please do it.
Thank you. Please do.